ACT Prep Reading Week 4. Natural Science. This passage is adapted from a report on research conducted by the Population Reference Bureau, an agency that promotes policies governing issues of population health and the environment. A new study contends that rising childhood obesity rates will cut average U.S. life expectancy from birth by 2 to 5 years in the coming decades, a magnitude of decline last seen in the United States during the Great Depression. The study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, contradicts recent government projections that U.S. life expectancy will reach at least the mid-80s by the year 2080. Such forecasts, write lead author S.J. Olhansky and his 9 co-authors, are simple but unrealistic extrapolations of past trends in life expectancy into the future. In turn, other demographers have characterized the Olhansky's team's analysis as largely unsupported by evidence, and the article has spotlighted a long-standing debate about whether there are biological limits to an individual human lifespan, all amidst a recent flurry of contradictory research about how obesity affects morbidity and mortality rates. One new study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention even argues that being overweight has a positive effect on life expectancy. Projecting life expectancy is more than an academic exercise. Many U.S. government agencies, including the Social Security Administration, Congress, and the military, use such forecasts to guide policymaking on issues from tax rates to the solvency of age-based entitlement programs. Almost all these projections assume that U.S. life expectancy will continue to rise as steadily as it has since the 1930s, spurred by new medical approaches and technology, as well as behavioral shifts towards healthier lifestyles. But Olhansky and his co-authors question whether medicine and public health intervention can counter the rapid increases in U.S. obesity rates over the last 2 decades, especially among young children. The evidence of obesity, which researchers have linked to elevated risk of type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, cancer, and other health complications, rose approximately 50% in the United States in both the 1980s and 1990s. 2/3 of all U.S. adults are now classified as overweight or obese, as are 20% to 30% of all children under the age of 15. As Olhansky argues that this rapid rise in obesity rates will cause a pulse event of mortality in the United States akin to the large number of deaths caused by an influenza pandemic or a war, but spread out over the next 4 or 5 decades. Anytime there's an increase in early age mortality, deaths before the age of 50, it has an effect on an overall life expectancy, says Olhansky. And when these children reach their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, they'll face a higher risk of death. It's roughly equivalent to discovering that a large segment of our young people who never smoke suddenly decided to smoke. To demonstrate the future effects of rising obesity levels, Olhansky and his co-authors first calculated how current rates of adult obesity are diminishing overall U.S. life expectancy. Using studies that argued being obese reduces your life expectancy by nearly 13 years, the researchers estimated by how much overall rates of death would fall if every obese person in the United States lost enough weight to reach the optimal body mass index, BMI, of 24. Obesity is generally defined as having a BMI of 30 or above. In other words, to find out the effects of obesity, we statistically wiped out obesity, says Olhansky. They found that obesity now slices 1/3 to 3/4 of a year off overall life expectancy, depending on one's race and gender. These figures don't sound like much, says Olhansky, until you put them into context. They are larger than the negative effect of all accidental deaths, as well as homicides and suicides, he says. If you wipe out cancer, that would only add 3.5 years to overall U.S. life expectancy. And the effect of obesity will only grow, writes Olhansky and his co-authors, as its prevalence further rises and children and young adults carry and express obesity-related risk for more of their lifetime than previous generations have done. Even eliminating a major disease such as cancer, they conclude, would not counter the negative consequences for life expectancy caused by the wave of deaths. They will overwhelm the positive influences of technology, says Olhansky. Some demographers say that Olhansky's team simplifies the complex interplay of factors that have fueled 20th century gains in life expectancy in the United States and other developed countries. These analysts also characterize the study as part of a demographic paradigm, assuming a biological limit to life expectancy. That trend since 1950 have cast doubt. It's a Malthusian example of belief in the fixity of nature, says Samuel Preston, professor of demography at the University of Pennsylvania and author of a rejoinder to the Olhansky study. Their notion is that we wear out and die and there's nothing to be done about it. The fact is that we have been very successful at postponing death at older ages, and other countries have been even more successful. Many demographers now accept that the biological maxim is not so well set, adds Christine Himes, a sociologist at Syracuse University. The survival curves are now being pushed out. More people are living past 100 and more past 110. There may be some maximum, but it's pretty far out there, past 120. All right, now I am going to get into the questions. Question number 1. The author of the passage uses the first paragraph, lines 1 through 6, to inform the reader of all of the following except A. Childhood obesity is a grave problem in the United States. B. The anticipated change in Americans' life expectancy will have dire consequences. C. An adult who was obese in childhood is likely to die sooner than an adult who was not obese as a child. Or D. The United States will soon suffer a decline in population. The correct answer is D, because the author of the passage neither says nor implies that the population of the United States is decreasing. What the passage focuses on is the alarming rate at which Americans' average life expectancy will decline as a result of childhood obesity. By comparing the decline expected in the coming decades to the decline in life expectancy during the Great Depression, the author indicates a crisis in the making. All right, question number 2, and for this one I'm not going to read every answer choice. I'm just going to read the questions, pause, and then I'll read the explanation for the answer. Question number 2, as used in line 53, the term pulse event most nearly means. The correct answer is H. The best answer is H because, as explained in lines 54 through 57, pulse event refers to a large number of deaths, like those occurring during a deadly epidemic or a war. Question number 3. A reasonable inference to be drawn from the 8th paragraph, lines 58 through 65, is that the best answer is C, because according to Olhansky, obese children growing into their 20s, 30s, and so on face a higher risk of death. Choice A may be a tempting answer, but it is neither confirmed nor denied by the passage. B is not a good choice because the passage states that the negative effects of obesity intensify over time. That is, long-term obesity is a greater threat than short-term obesity. D cannot be supported by evidence in the passage. Question number 4. As described in the passage, critics of Olhansky consider his research to be flawed in all of the following except. The answer to number 4 is A. The best answer is A, because the passage makes no mention of critics who thinks that Olhansky erred by rushing through his study of childhood obesity. On the other hand, some demographers have said that Olhansky's research is unsupported by evidence, found in line 17. Others claim that Olhansky's team ignored the complex interplay of factors that fueled 20th century gains in life expectancy, which can be found in lines 101 to 104. Also, professor of demography Samuel Preston accuses Olhansky of clinging to a discredited belief that there is nothing that can be done to extend human life. And that can be found in lines 110 to 117. Question number 5. It can be inferred from Olhansky's conclusion about overall life expectancy in the United States that the correct answer is H. The best answer is H because Olhansky contends in lines 1 through 3 that childhood obesity will cut average U.S. life expectancy from birth by 2 to 5 years. Cancer, in contrast, decreases life expectancy by only 3 to 5 years, and that can be found in lines 87 to 89. F is contradicted by the evidence in lines 83 to 87. G is not discussed in the passage, although line 82 suggests that death rate figures are kept according to race. J raises an issue discussed in lines 58 to 62, but it makes it too specific a statement to be inferred from information in the passage. Well, that concludes the ACT reading for week 4. Good luck on everyone. All right, have a great day.